Years ago, I had a business partner, and he would play around the golf, and he would go analyze his round. And you've seen statistics, right? You've seen greens in regulation, fairways hit, up and down, sand saves, putts on greens, putts per green. You got all these stats. Well, he had a stat called BUH. And I looked at his sheet, and I was like, what is a BUH? He said, blow up hole. Today, we're going to talk about how I can help you eliminate blow up holes and become more consistent. So eliminating the blow-up hole, right? What is that? So that's when you're playing a round of golf and you get out there, and you know, most people play the round pretty well. So you get out there and you play 12, 13 holes pretty well, bogey, even par, make a few birdies. It's those big numbers, hitting that one or two shots that go out of bounds, and you make this big number on a couple of holes and your score skyrockets. So if you look at your scorecard, you may not see a terrible round of golf. If you really look at it, you see terrible places during the round where you have a bad score. So I want to talk about consistency, right? First of all, what is it, and how do I create it in my golf swing so that I can go out and play my best golf? Now, I'm not going to get into pre-shot routine here. I did that in one of the last videos. Make sure you review 026, which is my process, but also review my red zone, green zone in my previous videos. And by the way, make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to keep talking about this stuff of how to transfer what we do on the range to the golf course to play our best. But today, I'm going to tell you what I do in the construction of my swing, in my technique that creates my consistent ability to hit that ball. So let's talk about first, what is consistency? Now, consistency is nothing more than your ability to take a golf club and take it back and get to this moment of impact the same way every single time. So when I hit this 3-wood, when I get to that impact, right there when I hit it, that I'm achieving that position every single time, and that creates the same dynamic of speed, effective loft on that club, and this 3-wood goes to the same spot every single time. So consistency is not just hitting it straight. Consistency is also the fact that the club hits the ball the same distance every time, which that translates into a 3-wood that goes 240 to 245 yards every time. So now my clubs all are consistent, and I can go manage the golf course better. So we want consistency, and I know we talk about length and how far you hit it, and that's a big deal, right? We want to hit it long distances, but what you really, really want is you want to find that place, which I call the sweet spot, of hitting it far, but making sure that you're consistent. So let me give you the key elements in my swing. These are key triggers of things I practice that I use when I develop my motion so that I can get to that moment of impact consistently. So I'm going to kind of give you my secrets to consistency, but hey, here's the thing. I don't necessarily think about these things on the course, because I build them in. They're built into my process here, and I just execute shots out there. But let me tell you what I focus on for a consistent impact position. Number one, if you don't have a consistent address, if you're not good at the moment of address, you're going to be inconsistent, right? So when I set up to the ball here, I make sure that I lock in this address, and I feel fantastic, and I feel good at address. This should be the exact same every single time I set up to a ball. So master address position. There is key number one. And if you think you're good at address, you're probably not, because you can't be too good at this moment of address where you trigger it in. So at address here, there's my first key, is master your ability to feel great at this moment, okay? So there's number one. During my swing, and I'm not going to get into every single detail. I don't try to take it straight back. I don't try to take it inside. My only trigger here is a brace against this leg. I want to solidify my movement into that trail leg. I'm not shifting my weight. I'm turning into a braced leg. What that does is it creates a stable, solid platform for me to leverage the golf club. So I'm triggering off this inside of this leg. It's such a critical element, which I'm going to discuss here in just a minute. So let's go back in order here. Proper address, feeling great there. Into a braced trail leg right there. That's where I feel braced. Now, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go into a brace lead knee. Then I do a thing called replacing the shoulders. So what I do is I get here, I brace, and I replace this shoulder with this shoulder, and that's really how I stay consistent. It gives me a full rotational position, brace, brace, replace shoulders, and they build in consistency. Now, I've talked about this before. Think about this. Something you need to add into your routine here is when I'm setting up and I go into that knee and I replace my shoulders, that foot stays on the ground. That is a major component to my consistency, because if I tend to get too up, rotated, or whatever my body does, it changes my effective hitting position and impact, which changes my ability to be consistent hitting a golf ball. So let's go back through these, and you can go practice this. This is stuff I want you to execute as you practice your single plane swing. So first things first, get your address, nail it down, right? Get that perfect. That means get your grip right, get your single plane address right. I feel great at address, always, okay? Leverage against that trail leg so you're braced, because it's going to limit motion here. So you're going to feel solid. You got to get solid at that position, right? And I'm doing that off the inside of my trail leg. I'm stabilizing into the knee, and I'm rotating. I'm replacing shoulders as I brace and keep that foot down. That dynamic of that allows the club to get very consistent through here. And there's not a golf pro in the world that's going to tell you that you don't need to be good from here through there, right? And I'm doing this by stabilizing lower body and putting my body in what I call limitations. I'm creating limitations, natural limitations of the body that make me more consistent. And the replacing the shoulders gets the club to travel right through the ball. So watch me do it here. Solid address, stabilized trail leg, perfectly straight. And that's it. It's just firing into that knee, replace shoulders, bracing the lower body, puts my body in an extremely consistent impact position. That's the key to consistency. That's my process. You must get those things in place to be a consistent golfer. Now, there's one final thing I want to mention about lower body. It's the fact that when I'm doing this, right, when I'm making this motion, it's limiting the amount that this can slide around, because this affects this. So I'm really creating a very limited lower body movement, even though it's still moving correctly, and this limitation allows this to move and get in a proper position and impact. So those are some of my keys to consistency, especially focus on that trail leg. Try that, hit some balls in the range, and let me know in the comments below how it works. And by the way, I'm going to go through a lot of these key elements on this channel, so don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to miss out on all my keys to the single plane swing.